Alrighty, absolutely amazing. What's going on, GFU family? How is everyone doing? I'm the Director of Sales and Training, Manny Quinones. I'm blessed, grateful, and excited to be able to host day two of our GFU Masterclass and free trial. This is an absolutely free Zoom to teach you and introduce you to some of our master educators and their strategies. And this is a great place to welcome any new guests. So if this is your first time coming into the GFU fold, we want to welcome you. So guys, can we take a minute? Let's put a big welcome in the chat box for all of our guests that are here with us today. Let's show them a lot of love. We love unity, we love support, we love teamwork here at GFU, and we're looking to go the long mile. So we're very excited to have you guys today. If you are a guest over here, now, ladies and gentlemen, let me know where you guys are all tuning in from. We have thousands of people pouring in on the Zoom. So let's see which countries are in the building today. I see we have a lot of UK. We have some Nigeria, Poland, Ghana, USA, Italy, Australia, Cameroon, Latvia, Georgia, Kenya, Mexico, Bolivia, Taiwan, Norway. We're going to break the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Dutch, Germany. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Guys, I love it. I'm not sure who's the biggest country that's in the building, but you guys can keep racing for number one right there in that chat box and see who's more excited to learn about this digital education and see which country is the most committed to success and learning our strategies. Alrighty, we got a lot going on. Alrighty, so let's get ready to slow down that chat box, ladies and gentlemen, and let's get ready to kick this day off. Okay. So first and foremost, if you guys can see my screen over here, this week we are doing a GFU strategy masterclass, as we said, and a free trial. In our previous session, we got to cover Sniper Pro with Mr. John Oliver. And today we have a very special day because one of our number one educators in all of GFU is going to be on the Zoom today, ladies and gentlemen. So, quick question: does anybody here like and trade the KillShot strategy? Do any of you guys here get on Jay Bonham's sessions? Are any of you guys on with the Sniper? Guys, let me know. All right. Let me give you a quick introduction before we pass over the floor to Jay Bonham over here. Jay Bonham is the developer of the KillShot strategy, and today he's also going to give you a special reveal of his supernova strategy today as well. This is a gentleman who is absolutely phenomenal. He's a professional fund manager. He's been trading for many, many, many years, and he has one of the most simplest trading strategies that we have here in GFU. So if you're an individual, you enjoy hyper scalping, you enjoy trading the indexes and the stock market, Jay Bottom has something very, very special for you today to teach you how to look at the market and trade with the trend. So without further ado, let me please pass the floor over to our KillShot creator, master educator, and a good friend of mine, Mr. Jay Bottom. So Jay, are you here with us?
Man, you know it. You know I'm always here. Where
All
else do
right,
I go?
awesome. Take it over, brother. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you, Manny, man. We've been doing this a long time, so it's good to be on a call with Manny. Everybody put some love in the chat for Mr. Manny Quinones. One of the main reasons why I ended up at this beautiful company was because of my man Manny, because of who he is and how he leads us here and the structure that he built and the amazing ability he has to bring the best of the best into one place where we can all learn and crank it out. So anybody who's brand new here who doesn't know me, my name is Jay Bonham. I am the US 30 sniper. I am the creator of our kill shot strategy with which Manny told you. I am a professional trader. The reason I essentially ended up at this company was because um, I was looking to grow and looking to find myself the opportunity to trade as a professional. And I had the ability to do that and still come here and educate because of the relationship I built with Mr. Manning. So what I've done here is I've got a couple of things. I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story, and then I'm going to get onto my scanner, and then we're going to show you something brand new. We're going to launch today, with a couple thousand people here, which is absolutely amazing. We're going to launch today with our brand new scanner, Supernova. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a little bit of training about KillShot. I'm going to tell you how we use it. I'm going to tell you what it is. We're not going to stay too long on KillShot because I'm going to do a little bit more of an overview on the brand new scanner. Okay, so what I did here is I started with a previous company, and anybody here knows me. Lots of people followed me from that previous company where I was one of the top educators there as well. I started there just like everybody else though. I started there just like everybody else in this call, looking just to learn the skill so I could find a way to, take control of how I earn money, right? Take control of how I live my life. Take control of the ability and I had to make money, and I had no, it was not. But I had the ability to make the decision I wanted to do with how I made money, so I could spend my life how I wanted to. I have 4 kids. Those kids tend to keep me pretty busy. I wanted to be able to spend my time making money as fast and efficient as possible, so I could spend my time with my family. And that's what I went looking. So just like everybody else here on this call, I went looking how to learn to trade. That was just like there's people who were on my live call today who cranked out some pips. That's where I went and learned this skill. I started just like everybody else. I tested out multiple strategies, and then I got to a point where I realized that as a trader, I had a certain type of mindset. Is that I come, but we're not going to delve too far into my past. But I had a little bit of an addictive personality. I had to figure out how trading worked for me, how my strategy could work with the person I was. And so I really got into scalping. So anybody here who likes to scalp and likes to get in the market quickly, get in the market quickly, get out of the market quickly, your guy. That's how essentially I've been trading for over 6 years. I don't want to be in the market long term. I think there's too much volatility. There's too much holding the market. I don't want to hold. Here's really how it went. I started learning to trade with a guy who was trading in Lithuania, and he was trading while I was sleeping. So we would get on together. We'd set trades. I'd go to sleep, and I wouldn't really sleep. I'd spend my night, rolling over, going, "Hey, what's going on with my trade? What's going on with my trade? What's going on with my trade?" This is when I used to trade with my phone. And I realized that just wasn't going to be the trader I was going to be. Right? That just wasn't going to be the trader I was going to be. I couldn't. That couldn't be a long-term trading strategy for me. Right? I had to find a way to get in the market and get out of the market so that I could live my life. That's really what I wanted to do. I wanted to get myself to a place where I could just take what the market gave me, move on, and have my day. And so what happened was I had a really crazy run coming out of teaching myself that strategy. I was trading in US oil. I went to go put it into my live account after about 2 months of demo trading, and pandemic hit. And when pandemic hit, US oil went to positive barrels. I couldn't trade US oil anymore. So I went back to the education space, found another educator who essentially traded in something called US 30. And I took one trade in US 30. It was just a breakout strategy at that point, and that trade went 4 times as fast, 4 times as far. I was like, this is my jam. This is where I'm going to be. This is where I'm going to figure out all my trading strategies, essentially kind of bred from US 30. And so I took a small amount of money to a very good amount of money, and I can't drop anything on here for income claims. We're not going to do that. So, but the market changed. And what happened when the market shifted for me, right? The market, I was trading 18 months, an 18-month uptrend coming out of the pandemic, and the market changed. And my strategy, my little breakout strategy, breakouts became traps. My breakout strategy didn't work the same. It didn't quite work right. I would get caught in these big reversals and big trades. So I had to alter my strategy. When I altered my strategy, I started to use all the pieces that I had learned at that previous company. I started using an EMA. I just essentially started with a blue EMA, which is called the 50. I just started taking trades as it would break that 50. Now, sometimes it would push away, sometimes it would come back. I realized if I added a second EMA, I could get into this thing even sooner. I could manage it a little bit better with a little bit of a faster EMA. And once I started to use those things, then the things grew to pieces of this chart, what we talk about the stars, and we talk about all these other things and reversals, and I'll go over those things very quickly so you guys can understand them. And then I'll show you guys where to find the tutorial videos. I'll show you where we're going to be loading up here my 5-day boot camp, which is over on that previous the previous website. We'll move that over here so everybody can see it, and then give you guys those kind of 5 days and those fast starts so you can get in there, you can start to make money and trade right away. And so when I started to do that, and one thing I'll tell you guys here before we get into the strategy is that the scanner that I teach, I use. So I use that scanner to manage the fund I trade for, the hedge fund I trade for. I use that scanner. I use it. It's my utility. It's what I've been testing. It's what I've been using. I've been using that thing for over coming up on 5 years. September will be 5 years. Nope, sorry, July will be 5 years that I've been using that thing. For 5 years, I use that to manage the fund. I use that to manage my money. I use that to manage my capital. It's what I use. So I know that I can teach it to you combined with some rules and strategy, and you can have success. You can move that account forward. I can take the strategy piece out of the learning and know that if you just follow the strategy, your account will move forward, and then you can work on what's important. Okay? And then you can work on what's important. And so that strategy of what I've created, okay, is shared on GFU Live. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the GFU Live, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move that over to our brand new scanner, which is going to be coming up here in the next few days. Just working on a couple of coding and some publishing key stuff so that we can get that scanner up for you guys all to use. So I'm gonna drop that thing on you, and I'm going to show you guys how you can use that as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. Okay, I'm going to share my screen here. Where's my GFU Live? There you are. Okay, everybody put a 1 in the chat. Keep that chat rolling so I know everybody can see what I'm doing on my chart. Everybody knows my ones. Okay, perfect. Okay, so we're going to show you where to find this on GFU Scanner. Okay, this is what we call KillShot. So when you come on here, come on to GFU, we're going to come over here to scanners, click this little button. Going to take you over here. You're going to see our list of all our beautiful scanners that everybody can use here to have some success in the markets. Okay, then we're just going to go over here. You're going to click KillShot. As you guys can see, I've already got it up because I was up here playing with it. Okay, and so you can see what this thing does. Okay, and what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to see a big thing. Okay, so what we do here is we analyze on a higher time frame, and we're looking to enter on a smaller time frame. We're looking to enter into these short-term positions that can give us those easy entries that we can scalp, get a few pips, and move on with our day. Now, the one reason I created this, and I use it because I still think it's so valuable, and I can prove it, and I test it. Anybody who comes on my calls every Friday, we back test this and prove that this strategy works every single week. And so what we do is we're going to analyze on a little bit of a higher time frame. So anybody needs to come on here, you can see, you guys switch your time frames over here. We're going to go to 15 minutes. Okay, so 15 minutes is going to give us an indication of what is happening via the trend. So something that's very simple here, I'm going to tell you guys, I created this thing for the brand new person so that I know that they could come in, they could take this strategy, they could win right away, and they could focus on the things that really takes time to learn to be a trader. Right? You can focus on the mindset, the personal development, all those things. The edge that you need to work on, your edge you work on, and you have the strategy figured out. Okay, so all you have to do is you'd see, we're going to show you guys quickly. We're just going to show you guys a signal or two. The first thing you would do is you'd analyze here. You'd come on here, say, hey, the 15 is up, right? You can see we had a quick little shift here into a downtrend. It did bounce off something we call the 238. It's our safety basket. It's something I teach you on how to use this. Bounced off that and is now pushed and switched back up, okay? And it switched back up into this uptrend. So what we would have done is when we were waiting for this switch is we would have switched over to the 1 minute. So we would have come checked out the 15. And if you zoom out and you're looking at structure, you can see this drops here. You can see, right? Higher low, higher low, higher low. You can see these things push to the top. Okay. You can see that this is creating upward structure. It pulled back, held this 238, and is now pushing back with a whole bunch of space to go back to the top. Okay. So we would have waited for this trend to switch. The trend switch, we would shift over to the 1 minute chart, which we go over here. Okay, and then we'd look for a blue triangle. 15 was up, looking for a blue triangle. As you can see, it came down here. This is something called the 238, which we want to see that on the other side. It's one of our confirmations. Okay, it's one of our confirmations, and you can see this thing break. And you could take that. There's multiple places you could take this. You could have taken it here at the blue. All right, you could have taken it here at the blue signal. Right, you can see that it would have an easy, man. This thing is just running too. right? And an easy 1 to 2 risk reward off that blue signal. We also use something called the break of the 238, which we did all this. If anybody was on my call here today, we did all this together. You take the break of the 238, and as you can see, this thing is not only run here, but is continuing to move hundreds of pips. So would have been really easy at 34. Okay. Lots of people here who use KillShot. Okay. I'm not worried about muting comments, guys. Don't worry. Okay. People can say what they want. Okay. So you can see this thing pushes all the way back up to 175. Okay. It was 1 to 4.5. So something that was really the reason this was created was to create something for the brand new person. So somebody who's brand new who comes into this academy, this doesn't take a lot to learn, right? You can legit come in here and be like, okay, I'm going to get in at a blue signal. I'm going to get in at a red signal. That's how simple KillShot can be, right? We're going to get the red signal. We're going to, we had a miss here because there's a red candle. So there's some confirmations that come around this. But all you would have had to do today is come in and press the button at this blue, and you literally would be up 250 pips in US 30 today. Now, that is obviously whatever you're risking for a return. That could be quite the return today. Secondary, if you guys were on my call, we had a beautiful call here today, and we actually analyzed this and used it along with the scanner, and everybody on there saw exactly what we were looking to do. Okay, so what we can use KillShot for is for somebody who's brand new. This doesn't take lots to learn. You can get somebody in. I have 2 tutorials. If you guys come over and take a look at the tutorials in here, all you got to do is come up here, click learn how to use GFU scanners. These are all things that Manny has put together and put up on the charts. You come over here, click KillShot. You got 2 videos. These 2 videos will get you caught up on what you need to use. I have multiple boot camps still available for you. I got a 5-day fast start, which is going to go over all the pieces, right? All the pieces that you can see, right? You probably have questions like, what are the stars? What are those lines? How do you enter? All those things fully covered and fully available in the 5-day fast start, and also in these 2 trainings. You can come over here and go into documents. There's also a PDF on what everything needs. So if you're a little bit more of like you want to read it over and over again rather than watch a video, that PDF, you can download this PDF and print it out, right? So that you can get everything you need to be able to be successful. And that's how fast you can learn this thing. One thing that's super important when it comes to trading is the belief involved with it, right? Because trading can be, depending on the type of trader you want to be, it's a long-term learning curve, and it's constant learning, right? Sometimes you learn and you do really well for the first 6 months or something, and maybe you got to alter the strategy a little bit. Maybe you got to shift a little bit. So one thing that's super important in here is that we have created, okay? We have created something that's super simple for people to get into this market, okay? And give you the ability to come in here and win right out of the gate. And that's what this was made for. This is to know you come in, follow some simple confirmations, follow some rules, and you can make some pips in this market. And then we can focus on all the rest of it, right? So an amazing place for anybody here who's a leader or any of those things. You can have this thing, and your team can win right away. Okay? So very, very easy. Everybody's in here. I can see Jake and all these other leaders who are in here who have groups of people who are using these things, who have just started with us here in the last few months and are really having tons of results with this scanner. Okay? Very, very simple. I mean, you got a blue triangle, you got a red triangle. So that's how simple these 2. Look at the moves. Look at the move from the sell today. Look at the move from the buy today. Very, very, very simple. Very, very easy to follow. You don't have to, okay? You don't have to have years and years of experience to be able to understand this tool. It'll work out of the gate. It'll be super simple. You're not going to have to understand all these things. You can just come in and win. And what's super important with the scanner is that you guys can come in and have that success right away, because like I said, belief in trading, once you believe it works, you're going to stick at it. And because trading's not perfect, right? Trading isn't easy and it isn't perfect, okay? Trading isn't easy and trading isn't perfect, but because I'm going to show you a whole nother scanner, more, okay? And so I wanted to make sure I'm not here too long. Okay, so And the PDF is right here. Super, super easy. You just click on this, you click your documents, you literally can download it. Okay, depending on it's not loading. Hold on a second. Okay, it's not loading right now. There you go. So whatever scanner you pick on, you can go in here. You can see, right? We're doing. I'm not doing trend wave today. We can do KillShot. Documents right there. Okay, easy peasy. So someone asks about pairs that you can use this on. Okay. Guys, I don't want to close the chat box. Okay. I want to be able to answer some people's questions while we're here. That's the whole point. Get to know your educator, talk about the scanner. We're good. Okay. So we shift over to the one looking for it. We'll talk a few about the pairs. We're gonna actually, what I'm gonna do is I just noticed this a little bit earlier too. Have a conversation with Manny about how you can use this, but it works on everything. It was built on US 30, but it works on everything. So built on US 30, but it works in any pair that's high volume, right? So something that's super important for the scanner is that we want to use it in something that's high volume, right? Something that moves, something like, if you're going to use it in indices, it works on US 30 and NAS. You can use it in JUR 30 as well. I have groups of people that are using it in JUR 30. Okay. It works well on gold, just a little bit of a different time frame. It will work well on gold as well. Right. Works well on gold. Look, you can see a buy, which would have been on trend, right? We got our trend is up. You got a beautiful buy on the one. Bam, look at all those pips. Whew. Sheesh. Right? So it works well on gold. Okay. It works well on gold. And it also, I haven't really used it in any of these other commodities. You're really just gold, but I'm sure if anybody wants to use it, you can pull them up and do some testing. And also on forex pairs, you want to have a major. Okay. So somebody asked about forex pairs, you want to have a major. Okay. Okay. You want to have a major, right? So we want to have Euro, USD, something like that in the pair. You can have them both. Euro USD is a prime example. But because you were looking for a higher volume pair, because we're looking for something that moves, right, a little bit faster, right, than a normal pair, because we're trying to scalp, right, in the shorter term movements, right, we want to have enough volume that this is going to work, right? Because if it doesn't have enough volume, it's not going to work properly. Okay, you can see right here, even on the one, we tend to use this on the 5 minute because it's a little bit better for a long term, but you can see this thing had a nice scalping move in forex pairs as well. You're looking for something that has high volume. Okay, you're going to look for something that has high volume so you can get in the market and get out. That's when you look at a little bit of higher time frame, and then we come back to this, and then you're going to look at that shorter time frame for entries. Okay, and we're going to scalp those pips even in forex pairs. Does it work on crypto? Heck yeah. Crypto, it works on the majors in crypto as well. You're going to want to use BTC, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, something that also has high volume, right? Because we're looking for that higher volume to translate into these shorter term moves. So if it doesn't have the volume, your shorter term moves will tend to consolidate a little bit. They might still go that direction, but they'll consolidate more, which isn't really that good of a market to scalp in. Right? You're looking for that high volume, that influx of volume, and a quick move so that you can get in and out of the market. Okay. So that is KillShot. Okay. So anybody here who used KillShot, put some love in the chat. I know there's lots of people on my calls. Crank this thing out and use it as a scanner to earn income here while they trade. And I know that there are a lot of people. It's right here. Anybody wants this scanner, it's right here on GFU2 under KillShot. Very, very easy to find. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to spend a little bit more time on something that's brand new. Something that's brand new that's going to hit this website here. Okay, something that is going to be, it's going to be hitting this website here later this week, probably in the next couple of days. We're just kind of waiting on this publish key. So I'm going to share something else with you guys here. Just give me a sec. Okay, I'm going to share this trading view because I'm going to show you a trading view. People actually come here to trade live. We don't want to laugh at anybody, but I mean, like, see if people are asking. But I mean, if you guys know me and you get on my live calls, you know it's how I roll. So what we're going to talk about here, we're going to talk about supernova. Okay, supernova brand new. Now something that about supernova that is complementary to KillShot. So the one thing that KillShot does is it finds positions on trend. Okay, it's an on trend indicator. It wants to find the trend, it wants to scalp, it wants to join it, it wants to get out. Okay, that's what KillShot's built for. It's built for scalping on trend, right? Trend is our friend. Let's find that long-term trend. Let's get into it. Okay, right? Okay, you have the ability to get those moves in and get on trend. What Supernova does, which is brand new, you guys can see this over here on Supernova. Brand new to the oh, I still got it. Sorry, I lost it there. Something's not working here. Can you guys still see my screen?
Yeah, we see you, Jay.
Yeah, I don't know what's up. Okay, we're still good. So one thing that I had is that, a lot of people, there's a lot of people who like counter trend trades, like to find these reversals. And, that's that you talk about, supply and demand zones, smart money concepts, those types of things that people like to trade, right? People like to trade these reversals because these reversals can become impulsive. They come into these zones, they grab volume and they move in that direction. That was just not how I traded. And as I started to learn how I was trading, and I traded with KillShot, I found that counter trend trades were the majority of my losses. I realized through data and trading and auditing my trades and doing back tests that the majority of my trades came from counter trend. So I avoided them. I avoided them most of the time. Right. And then, just over about a year and a half ago, someone came to me and they actually were showing me how to use something that's a part of KillShot, which KillShot has these stars. You guys can see on Supernova here, you can see these red and green stars, right? So KillShot, okay. And so KillShot shows you these red and green stars. You use it totally different, use it to protect your trades. Okay. So one thing that's super important is that I needed to find some confirmations to help me find counter trend positions, because I was looking on trend. I trained my mind to find trend. I trained my mind to stay trend. And then I noticed, as a guy started to just trade these stars on crypto, okay, as he just started to use these things, okay, as he started using these things on crypto, he was just entering every time one of these red and green stars popped, which tends to lead to over trading, tend to lead to taking lots of losses. So what I did was I took that and I added some pieces to it. So that instead of getting, like if these stars tend to move, okay, these stars tend to move. And so instead of just jumping in it every time you got a star, right, I added some confirmations into it. So I added some pieces into this thing to confirm direction, right? Something that was, super simple, that it wasn't going to be hard to understand or hard to see, right? So all I did was add some candle patterns to tell me, just one candle pattern to tell me when this thing wanted to reverse. And so all I did was, within the same star, I added something we call three black crows or three white soldiers. That means 3 down candles or 3 up candles, all in a row within the first 10 candles. Okay, so as you can see, we'll just take a look at this cell, and you can see these 3 positions that happened here today, right? From 6 o'clock into good volume, right? We're looking at a green star. Okay. Actually, let's get to. Okay, so let's talk about this cell. Okay, so as you can see, right, we got this big red star pop up here. So the first thing that supernova needs is a star. It either needs a red or a green star. What these stars are breaking higher highs and lower lows. So they essentially, what they did in their original intention was to show us, okay, when a reversal was potentially coming, so that if we were a scalper, we could protect. That's how we use it in KillShot. In supernova, it's different. We are going to look for entries off those stars. So essentially, very complementary to what KillShot does. You're looking for that KillShot signal on trend, and then once a trend dies, you're looking for that supernova reversal. And these play with people who use things, like I said, with smart money concepts, right? You can see it creates supply or demand zone as it wicks up into it, right? You can see this plays, you got to wick up, and then it also continues on. And so the first thing we'd be looking for is either a red or green star. So we're gonna go over this cell, right? So you can see we got this big red star. Now within the first 10 candles from this star, okay, that's on the line. Go right. And we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 10's right about here, right? You can see we had 1, 2, 3 red candles in a row. They must be in a row. What that indicates is that there's an impulsive move in the other direction, right? Say this was on trend up, right? Now when this switched, I wanted to know that the chart was starting to move the other way impulsively. And those 3 candles tell me that. They tell me that that chart wants to move impulsively. So that's the first thing. We need to see that red star. Then we need to see these 3 candles. Then the last thing is we want to see the break of the 50. Okay? Okay? We want to see the break of the 50. See this 50 EMA? This is the same EMA we use on KillShot. Okay? This confirms that it's got enough volume to continue to push. Now, these are going to be a little bit bigger parameters than we would as a scalp. And I'm going to show you guys the long and short positions here, right? It's going to be a little bit bigger parameters. Now, we want to have our stop losses back. We would enter here. We want to have our stop losses back behind, at least behind these EMAs. We really want to have it back behind these higher lows, right? Just in case it wants to pull back to structure, which you can see it pulled back here, right? We want to have it back to these higher highs or lower lows. But right now we'll just use a 100 pip stop loss, which is generally okay. Usually that 100 pip stop loss will get you back behind structure. Nope, there was not more than 10 candles. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you had your 6th, 7th, and 8th candle for 3 in a row. Okay? It's not about when this candle crosses, it's about when the 3 candles happen. They must have to happen in the first 10 candles. And as you can see, it calls that big reversal. After an impulsive, I mean, it had a huge buy as well. And then it has that impulsive switch. I mean, if you're a longer term trader, which that's not always my forte, this thing had as many pips on it as you wanted. 2 big monster positions today over 400 pips, right? And as you can see, if you're looking at structure, right? If you're looking at structure as this goes down, right? This is telling you that this structure is downwards, right? This is telling you that this structure is heading down. Now, if we were going to be trading KillShot, we'd be looking to take our signal on trend. But if we're like, okay, well, it's moved, right? It's got 400 pips here, about 600 pip move. Okay. 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 Right. Okay. The structure here, all the way down to the bottom. Okay. There's about, a 400 pip move. Right? And you can see 1 to 4 very easily done. Now, if we wanted to try and find our way up, it'd be pretty hard to want to trade against structure, right? You can see structure creating all these, right? Creating all these lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, right? Creating all these lower highs. Okay, so as you can see, that's telling us that structure is shifting downwards. How do we find our opportunity if we're going to trade against structure? I mean, you can see that it creates this, you didn't get that star there because this one didn't push and you didn't get those candles. Now, if it gets down to this bottom, right? Gets down to this bottom, we get a nice green star, right? We can zoom in on this. You can see it. We're like, okay, well, we're going to wait for it to reverse. Okay, we're going to wait for it to reverse. Okay, and we're gonna talk about our opportunity. Okay. We're going to talk about looking for our opportunity to push this back up. Okay, so big old green star, right? We look for those 3 candles. This is what you call those three white soldiers. You get 1, 2, 3 right away. Then it breaks the 50. And it has up to 30 candles later to break that 50, because sometimes it might get impulsive and hold the area first before it breaks out. But once again, you can see if you had those same parameters, your 100 pip stop losses would have been a beautiful A+ setup, right? Your 100 pip stop loss, drop below that bottom. Beautiful 1 to 2, potentially, right? almost 1 to 3. As this thing shifts and breaks, you could protect it and go to break even and get to a 238. And this would have been a beautiful risk-free trade on its way. Okay. And that was kind of the first part on how that was built with this move here in the chart. And these are, you know, as a scalper, I was just never looking for these like really, really long positions. But Supernova gives you those. It gives you these longer term moves where you can stretch your stop loss and your TP. You can stretch those things and you can really grow and let that account and let those trades run. If you're someone who's, you know, okay with holding trades a little bit longer and running these positions, then you can let this chart go its direction and you can follow it with this brand new scanner, right? So yeah, within 30 candles for sure. Okay. And so both of these, it called 3 trades in good volume. So we have some things up here as well, so you can tell it's low volume right now, right? Because we're coming to the close of the day, which means the market's about to get extra volatile. We don't really want to be in it when it's extra volatile because it's not going to really trend when it gets extra volatile. So somebody asked, when is this available? And it's not up yet. The code is there. We're waiting for a couple edits on a published key, and it should be up here in the next couple days. So everything's ready to go. We're just getting ready to get it up onto the platform, get a couple training videos and get you guys ready and access to this so you guys can start using this in the market. For me, this was a hard scanner to really, you know, get a part of. Because it started calling these counter trend positions, and I'm an on trend trader, and so it really depends what we've done here now. And it's as simple as you can see both of these scanners today called these huge moves. It's as simple as just following along and waiting for the scanner to tell you. Now, of course, trading is about more than indicators and scanners, but this tool will make trading easier. It will give you the ability to be able to get into this market while you're still educating yourself on all the bigger things that you need to become a long-term trader. These are going to give you the opportunities to get in and get out of the market. Okay, so very, very important. Okay, it's going to be accessed. It'll be up on, okay, it'll be up on the site. Okay, let's answer this. It's all good and well analyzing the chart in hindsight. How do you know where to place your risk ratio? Okay, so very, very simple. Like I just showed you, we'll just throw this up. Okay, risk reward. You want to make sure your stop loss is back behind the previous support area, right? Or 100 pips. That's the max you want to go. You don't want to go much more than 100 pips. That risk ratio is going to be on you. It's going to be what you set your lot size at and what you want to do as a trader. And then you want to have a 1 to 2 risk reward. A minimum of a 1 to 1. Right? But you're looking for a 1 to 2. Right? You have a 1 to 1 here. That's that 238 we talk about, which would have been a beautiful target. And then 1 to 2 would have been your risk reward. And there's your risk reward ratio. It cleared that by a long shot. Right? Come over here to the sell. Same thing. We could put this one, right? It's either behind the back behind the structure, right? Either back behind the structure or 100 pips, which you could see. 100 pips right there. Would have been a bit of a, you would have got a little sweaty here. This would have got you a little excited, right? Would have got you a little bit sweaty. And then you can see 1 to 2 with lots of meat left on the bone to go all the way to the bottom. So that's very simple risk reward, 1 to 2, especially if you're using a longer term trading system. You know, scalping is not necessarily 1 to 2. We still do teach that 1 to 2. But you're taking 10, 20 pips at a time. So, okay. Just got Zeri, but yes, 100%. Okay. So this will be getting launched. This is brand new. And the reason, you know, one thing you guys will know here about these scanners and the stuff that we share is that we don't take it lightly. So both of these scanners that you see, I've tested, I've created rules, I've created risk reward parameters. I've created a trailing stop parameter. If you don't like to leave your trades wide open, we've created all of those things so that you can have success here. They've all been tested. They've all been used. This isn't just something where I'm like, hey, here's a new scanner. Go ahead and throw it up there. We have, as educators and people who use these scanners, we know they work. We know they work. The one thing here too is where everything's getting translated, but we have specifically for KillShot, we still kind of have to line up who our supernova educators will be. Okay. But on KillShots, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. So that's just a short training about supernova. That'll give you the ability. We're gonna get that up on the site here in the next couple of days. So don't worry. I know it's hard for everybody to have patience because everybody wants to get those tools right away. But we're gonna have to have a little bit of patience here while we get that loaded up on the chart. Okay. So one thing I want to do before we go. Okay. One thing I want to do before we go, and before I pass this back to Manny for taking this back over, is something that's super important. So, okay, something that's super important is that we have support in multiple different languages. Now, translations have started. Daria's here. You guys have Spanish here. Daria translates all my calls for me in Polish. So we have the opportunity to get those things. Now, we do have, you won't get it on TradingView. Okay, it's not possible. So it won't be on TradingView. It'll be on the platform. Okay, so in different languages before we go, because I want you guys to know that I wanted to make sure that everybody who wanted KillShot would have support in their proper languages. Okay, so KillShot, it's already locked and loaded. We are working on kind of building our supernova team and our supernova group that are going to teach it in multiple languages. But just to give you guys in Spanish, we have Mr. Kamil Landowski. He also teaches in Polish, but he also teaches in Spanish. So he's using KillShot and showing it live in his sessions and using KillShot in Spanish, okay, on his Spanish channel. Paulina Favala, she is also teaching KillShot in Spanish. She's doing a little training videos. Her videos are up, okay? Her videos will be up, and she does it as well. In Dutch, Mr. Rob, I forget his last name, Rob Van, he teaches it in Dutch as well, a little bit longer term trading strategy in KillShot, okay? In Polish, we have Mr. Adam Haas, we have Willie Barilla, okay? Both of them teaching in Polish, okay? Teaching the KillShot scanner in Polish, okay? And we actually don't have anybody in Russian, so if anybody wants to know, that's something that we can look at. All our bigger markets have it. In German, we have Mr. Silas Educati. We have he's going to be doing KillShot and Supernova. Okay, so you'll have both of those in German. Okay, and then in French we have Jimmy Landre. He just started, and he'll be teaching KillShot in French. Okay, actually don't have anybody in Italian, so if you want, if there's an Italian educator who wants to get trained up on it and be able to teach on it, let's do it. I'm excited. Portuguese are still working through and testing somebody in it as well. Okay, and it will not be available on TradingView. None of our scanners will be available on TradingView. They are available through the platform. Okay, through the platform, so you guys can have access through GFU. Okay. And you guys will have access to be able to learn these things. Now, I'm telling you guys, coming on here and want to get educated on a scanner in 20, 30, 40 minutes. It's going to take a little bit longer to kind of get on there. KillShot is very, very simple to use, right? But it is going to take a little bit of a practice to get on there and test and make sure that you're doing some back testing and testing those rules. Okay, so super, super important to get connected. Okay, if you guys need me, I'm very easy to reach. I'm probably too easy to reach according to my wife. Sometimes I got to put the phone away. And yeah, Supernova, like I said, will be up this week. So by the end of the week, everybody here should have access to Supernova so you guys can use it. And I want to thank you guys, man. Thank you guys so much for coming on and listening to me, taking a look at a couple of our scanners. These are the things that are going to help you in the beginning of trading. Okay, these are the things that are going to give you that opportunity to grow your accounts. Have that account starting to move forward before you really take on some of that longer term learning curve when we talk things about smart money and all those other things. So I am going to pass this back to my man, Mr. Manny Q, to close this thing out. Thank you guys so much for coming and taking a look at our scanners. And I've been working a long time on these things. One thing, just before I get back to Manny, one thing about KillShot is I've been using it for 5 years. It's not something that I've used for like 6 months and then I've edited it and changed it and all those things. I mean, we add things to it to make it better, but I've been using it for 5 years to trade and to teach and to manage capital. So I know for 5 years It's helped me be a successful trader, and it's one of the main tools I use. So I know that it can do the same for you. So thank you, Manny. Take this away, brother. Close it out. Thank you guys all again for joining. I love you guys, and I'm gonna pass it back to Manny Q.
Absolutely. Jay, thank you so much. And for our GFU family and our guests that are on here as well, we want to thank you guys as well for tuning in. This is going to officially wrap up day 2 of our GFU strategy masterclass. Now, if you guys can, please go ahead and show some love to Jay Bonhamem in the chat room today. I think he went a little light. He went a little easy on you because Jay has a lot of training, a lot of recordings, documents all throughout GFU that you guys will be able to access to learn how to use this particular strategy. And one thing that I will add to that is the best way to really learn the strategy is to trade the strategy. Like Mr. Miyagi, wax on, wax off. And that's exactly what we do with our daily live sessions. So if you guys want to learn how to use these in the live market, practice with them, trade with them, learn from Jay about them, make sure that you're showing up, you're tuning into the session, and you're taking a look at what he has going on there. Alrighty. Now, with that being said, we are going to officially wrap up today. I want to thank everybody for being here today. We have about 3 more sessions left. Alrighty, tomorrow we have another incredible strategy session that's going to be in store for you guys. So we really look forward to seeing you guys here tomorrow. So make sure you keep sharing this link at this time with family and friends in GFU, and also family and friends that are not in GFU. So that way we can go out there and do what matters. And that's actually reach the people that want to learn the skill set, that want to learn how to be able to trade into the market and become an entrepreneur. Alrighty, so we look forward to seeing you there. Again, my name is Manny Quinones. Jay Bottom, thank you on behalf of GFU, guys. We thank you. And on behalf of all of our leaders here at GFU, guys, we thank you guys so much as well. Everyone, have a phenomenal day.